Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Oh, as I turn around and see Scotty Scheffler with a putter in his hand at Valhalla, I'm like, okay, I guess he's going to play today. What? And I woke up this morning, turned on ESPN, and saw Scotty Scheffler in handcuffs. And I'm like, okay, they finally figured out how to even the playing field. Maybe they can beat him if they put handcuffs on him. That's about the only way you're going to beat Scotty Scheffler these days. Good morning to everyone. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show. God, we have a hell of a show to get to today. We got topics, we got opinions, we got breaking news, we got controversy. We got Boston managers acting like a little Boston bitch. It's all kinds of fun we're going to have today on the JP Peterson Show. Welcome into Tim Ham, IndyCar Tim from our DSP Media affiliate in Dallas. What's up, partner? How are you?
Good morning, JP. If there was ever a phrase that you or a sentence that you thought you would hear at any given moment in your life, is Scotty Scheffler in handcuffs one of them?
No.
Like, what in the world did I wake up to this morning?
Oh my God,
that was insane.
And so begins the debate on Twitter. Was this the act of an entitled athlete or a police officer getting a little bit overzealous? I'm leaning, as the facts come in, I'm leaning towards the latter. But we got to get all the. I am always a very foremost a supporter of law enforcement, but I also understand and have experienced myself the actions of overzealous police officers. So, as many of us have. So we will get into that debate as the facts come in. Jason Powers, a local podcaster, former FSU kicker, is going to join us at 11:15 to kick around all kinds of things. And of course, we'll have our Hydrate Heroes Hero of the Week as well. But so much to get into. And I don't even know where to begin, but I guess we got to begin, Tim, with the Scotty Scheffler situation. As I turn around, he is there and has arrived at Valhalla with about 38 minutes to go before his tee time. He was trying to show up 3.5 hours early to his tee time this morning when he was detained by the police. So here are the facts as best we know. And most of this coming from an eyewitness, Jeff Darlington of ESPN, who was there at the scene and took video, had got the whole damn thing, and who I know to be a pretty straight shooter, by the way. This is not one of those guys I think it's going to embellish a story for an agenda. He's a straight shooter. So when he says what he says, I take it as gospel. And of course, we saw the video as well. So this morning we start with a very tragic story of a pedestrian getting hit by a bus and killed by that bus. And that, should probably have been the overarching story here today, and probably still should be. That's horrible when you have and it was wet. It was rainy, obviously dark this morning, people trying to file in, and those things will happen in those situations. So that created an incredible backup. And as best I can tell, the players were notified and that they would be able to use an emergency lane, the other side of the traffic, showing their player cars, which are clearly marked as player cars, and their credentials to get in. And now we also have to keep in mind that this was 3.5 hours before Scotty's tee time. So it's not like, he had to rush to get in to get to his tee time. Now, we all have sat in if you've ever sat in traffic on a deadline, I don't think there's, obviously there's a lot of things that could be worse, but that could be extremely nerve-wracking when you have to, like I've been in this situation many times. You're trying to get to a live shot. You've got so many minutes to get there and you're rushing to get there because you were at the station editing or whatever you had to do. And there's nothing you can do. And you got to be live on the air at 6:22 and you're stuck in traffic, 2 miles away at 6:14. It's it's been there, done that, and you're just trying to do your job. So have I violated a few traffic rules to get there? Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. No question.
You have to sometimes.
Yeah. Have I plowed through a police officer? No, I have not done that, which maybe that might be a little aggressive term, but so Scotty was trying to get in and evidently drove onto a median to cross the street to get into the entrance, showed his player credential outside the car, and was directed to stop, but did not stop. And at which point the police officer jumped on the car, and then Scotty, according to Darlington, drove for another 10 to 20 yards before he stopped the car. The police officer then got out with his flashlight / nightstick and started pounding it on the car. Yanked, as Jeff Darlington said, yanked Scotty Scheffler out of the car, slammed him up against the car, and handcuffed him and took him away. And that's where you pick up the video at that point. So there's a lot going on here. And first of all, we have to be sympathetic to the police officers who are dealing with a huge amount of traffic. We already have a fatality. So you have to keep order and make sure people are not, running through traffic places, and you just have to keep order, or you're going to have another traffic fatality, which you're going to have. So that's their number one goal, is safety. And, and from what the other reporting from Michael Collins is that a lot of these players just did exactly what Scotty Scheffler did. And that's drive up slowly, show your credential, and you're waved right in. Now, this particular officer, for whatever reason, and there was some thought that he may have just arrived on the scene, didn't know what the protocol was, and tried to stop Scotty Scheffler. So as all the reporting we get in at this point, it seems to me, and again, I always give the cops a benefit of the doubt. And by the way, the cops didn't know who Scotty Scheffler was after they arrested him, which really has, that's no place here nor there, right? Except to keep in mind that these players have been directed to get special treatment. They have been directed to go around the traffic and, slowly approach the gate, show your credentials, and go on in and be waved in. They have been told that. So keep that in mind as well. So this particular cop seemed to, if you're a cop and you're telling a car to stop and they don't stop, and I'm sure Scotty Scheffler thought, oh, he must think I'm a regular person, and I'll just show him my badge, and then he'll just wave me in. And this is in a matter of seconds that all this happens, right? It's not like he's dragging the cop down the road for a mile and a half. It's like, hey, stop. No, I'm a player. Hey, stop. No, I'm a player. Oh, crap. He's on my car now. What am I going to do? I better stop. Oh, it's too late. He's pulling me out. He's throwing me up against. It just seems to me, and I know the cop was probably very upset, but at that particular point, the cop has to know, A, this is a player because the car is clearly marked. B, this is not some type of terrorist situation. This is not some type of dangerous actor here. He is clearly looks to me to be like a player. Okay, so did the cop overreact? I think he did. I think this could have been a situation easily diffused. Could it not? Seems like first.
So first of all, the important thing to remember here as we discuss this is that the officers that were working the accident were not the same officers that were there working the tournament detail. So the officers there working the tournament detail have been instructed as to how to handle the players in traffic. They know how to identify the player cars. They're all driving courtesy cars from whoever the dealership car sponsor is. Clearly marked with the sponsors on the doors, and then a huge P on the windshield. Okay, so that doesn't mean, though, that the officers that are working the accident detail know that. We say that they're clearly marked for the player. Well, you and I know that they're clearly marked, but did this officer understand that? Did he understand the situation? Maybe he's not a golf fan. Maybe he has no idea. He's never heard the name Scotty Scheffler. All of these things are possible, right?
Clearly he had not. He didn't know who he was.
All he knows is that he's working this fatality accident. It's dark. It's rainy. There are hundreds of cars around him. And he's got some idiot, in his mind, he's thinking there's some idiot trying to pass everybody where he's not supposed to be passing.
Right.
So his actions are understandable when you think about it in that context, right? So, I get it. And at the same time, Scotty's only doing what he's been told to do.
Right.
all week in their prep for in practice rounds and things. Every time he's driven up there, he's done the same thing. If there's traffic, he's allowed to go through. You show your badges.
Right.
Well, he shows his badges to the officers that are working the tournament detail who know who he is and know how to identify him. This officer had no idea of any of that. And was there time for all of this to be communicated between all of the officers working the accident and the incoming players? Dude, it's a fatality, all right? They're working on everything else other than the stupid golf tournament at that point,
Right. Exactly.
So, yes, I think this was just a huge misunderstanding. I don't think there's any way Scotty Scheffler gets in any trouble for this. He's going to get off without anything at all, probably even without a fine. The officer was doing his job. Mm-hmm. Scotty was doing what he was instructed to do previously, had no idea. And it's an unfortunate situation compounded by a much greater unfortunate situation with the fatality from the guest that was there trying to cross the street. But yeah, there's no way Scotty gets in any trouble for this. He's not that kind of guy. If this was Patrick Cantlay or somebody out there, then yeah, I'd say it's probably the player's fault. But Scotty's not that guy,
Right. He's not that guy that's going to be the entitled athlete and do that. By the way, he has been charged with a second-degree felony, second-degree assault, which is a felony, assault of an officer, which is a felony, a third degree, and some other stuff. So he has been charged. He has been booked and released, and he's back and will make his tee time. Obviously did not make a statement before playing, but how will he play? How will he play? I think knowing Scotty Scheffler, as good a mental game as anybody in the game, I think even he will be a little bit rattled. I would think even he would be a little bit rattled. If he goes out there and shoots 63 today,
can you imagine?
Just like, some part of me believes that he'll be laser focused now. Yeah. And maybe if that's even possible, but I don't think you got to be rattled by it. He's sat in a damn jail cell. I don't know if you've had handcuffs put on you, Tim. I'm going to guess a yes.
Oh yeah. I'm familiar.
What would you guess about me?
In more than one setting, but yes, I've had handcuffs on a few times.
What would you say about me?
I'd say absolutely 100%. I would bet $100 million that you've had handcuffs on at some point.
You'd be right. They don't feel very good. That is a very awkward position to be in, and they do not feel good. And evidently they readjusted his handcuffs at some point, but then recuffed him. It ain't good for your golf game. I can tell you that. I know the last time I was my shoulder, I was injured. There's no question about it. They injured me, and I was hardly a threat in Norley Wiz, but it just in the action of doing it and the way he was thrown up against the car, I think there's very, possibly some type of temporary. I'm not saying he dislocated his shoulder, but he might have some real soreness in his shoulders and his wrists and his back and whatever that might affect him. And as any part of that is affected, it affects your golf swing. And just being a tick off at this level is a major deal. So, it could affect him in that way. And anyway, it is a most bizarre thing that has happened. And I think, the topic of the day is this the act of an entitled athlete or an overzealous cop? I think, quite frankly, you put it better than I did in your description of what happened. Nobody is to blame here. I don't think anybody is to blame here. I think it is a huge misunderstanding. And that's why I would have hoped that a professional police officer in that situation would have tried to diffuse the situation. Now, I also have to put myself in his situation. Some guy just tried to run through me, as far as I can tell. I was standing in front of the car and I don't know exactly what happened there. We didn't see that video. Mm-hmm. Now, if Scotty Scheffler ran him over and he had to jump on top of the hood, that's some BS. If it's been described as the cop tried to attach himself to the car.
Right. That's all we have. Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. Did he jump on the hood? Did he jump inside the window? Evidently, according to Scotty's attorney, he was unaware of the fatality that had happened. I'm not sure where that comes into play here, except that, I think if we knew about a fatality, we may, I might be a little bit more cautious about what's going on. He didn't know that. So I think that is important to throw into the mix here. Either way, it is the most bizarre beginning to a Friday at a PGA Championship where, oh, by the way, Xander Schauffele shot 62 yesterday. Holy shnikes. He was unbelievable.
Like Xander Schauffele has been known to do on Thursday and Friday, and then he falls apart on the – if he was on Live Golf and they only played 54-hole tournaments, he'd have 20 wins right now.
He'd be unstoppable.
He'd be unstoppable. But
as long as you tell him, there's 18 holes tomorrow, because he actually thought it was the end, he would screw that up probably.
That's
so
probably true.
You got to preface that.
So not to make a joke out of this what's happened this morning or anything, but first text I got this morning was from Johnny Gerber that said, "What are the odds of that cop that arrested Scheffler's a Rory fan?"
or has the field.
Yeah.
In his
anybody else.
Yeah.
Anybody else.
Yeah. His buddy took Scheffler and he took the field. Yeah. It's bizarre. And it'll be interesting to see how Scheffler goes out and plays today. And, some other subtext of yesterday's round, Rory played really, really, really well. So he continues his hot play. It is an absolutely star-studded leaderboard, except for some of the live guys. And John Rahm in particular, I don't know where he finished, but last I saw, he was +3 on the back nine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which is interesting, because that's not John Rahm in a major.
Well, but we predicted this on our show Wednesday, on our preview. Yeah. Wednesday, Johnny and I did, that John Rahm would have a miserable weekend. And this is because of the early start that he had to the week and the controversial comments that he made. He is getting lit up by everybody. I think he's in for a rude awakening this week with some friends that he still has on the PGA Tour, maybe not being so friendly towards him this week, and it's going to mess with him, I think, emotionally and probably a little bit mentally. He is not the mental tough guy that, that Tiger was or that Scotty is. He can't compartmentalize these things in his game. He's kind of, wears his emotions on his sleeve a little bit, kind of like Jordan Spieth. And we knew going into this that he was going to have a rough go at it. The conditions on the course are not good for him with all the rain and the humidity and the moisture on the course. I don't think he makes the cut, to be honest with you. And wow. I'm gonna laugh my off all the way to the bank, because I had money on him to miss the cut. So
wow, what was that number?
Plus 280.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't much, but it'll be lunch money.
Yeah, a little pizza money there. Nice, nicely done. So we'll see how this goes today for him. What did Tiger end up shooting? 1 over? I believe 1 over.
Let's see. Let me check our trusty leaderboard here.
Yeah. So I think, and I think it was the last 2 holes that did him in. I think he bogeyed the last 2 holes to go to 1 over par.
Finished at 1 over. Shot a 72 yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for all told for him, that's a pretty good day for Tiger. And we have to just remember, this week for Tiger is about making the cut, right? It's 25 straight majors.
25,
he's made the cut. Yeah. So he's not, I don't think, a danger to win this one. And as it gets, even though he hits it as long as anybody, when it gets wet out there, it just makes it a tougher walk for him. So, and
if anybody with bad knees knows that rain weather, that's not good on your knees, man, or any joints that you have that have been surgically repaired or anything like that.
Yeah, it's going to get spongy. All right, so let's move on to the Rays, which was an interesting game last night. And I know you were watching all the other playoff stuff. So a lot of good things happened for the Rays last night. They're starting to hit the baseball and score runs as they win 7-5 and take 3 out of 4 in the series from Boston, which is fantastic. And but the real part of the story comes down to the end of the game. And it's good stuff and bad stuff for the Rays. They have a 5-1 lead in the game. Littell makes some mistakes. They let him back into the game. Bullpen gives up the lead. It's now 5-5 as they go into the 9th. And here comes Kenley Jansen. And I tell you what, the Rays took him to task, and they scored 2 big runs. Another big hit from Miranda, got a big hit. Paredes knocks in a couple, and they get Palacios gets a sac fly. So some big hits in the top of the 9th to get a 7-5 lead. So Jason Adam comes on and with first and third and gets 2 outs. And Kyle Snyder heads to the mound. Well, earlier in the inning, Ben Rortvedt, the catcher, had gone out for a mound visit. So that made their fourth and final mound visit. So any more mound visits at that point are going to have to result in a change of the pitcher. Now, there's a little bit of ambiguity here and confusion for Kevin Cash, because if you use up your mound visits before the ninth, you get one more. Now, if you use your last visit during the inning, you're out of visits. And they lost track of that. So as Kyle Snyder came across the line, the umpire reminded him, hey, you guys got no mound visits left. And he's like, oh, and he turned around to go back. Well, no, like a situation where, cooler heads should prevail.
Right.
And the spirit of the day should prevail. And the umpire should, especially since we're dealing with new rules here and the rules that change every year. A simple reminder, the fact that Kyle Snyder never got to the mound or talked to his pitcher should have resulted in the umpire saying, hey, you're out of visits, so go back. And then Jason Adam could finish it.
Right.
But no. Alex Cora has to act like a little Boston bitch.
Like he always
start
has.
whining and bitching and moaning. Oh, no, he crossed the line. That's a mound visit. He's got to take him out. Now, let me just say this. As a manager, it is your job to keep track of that stuff and do everything you can to help your team win. I get that. But he never got to the mound. There's some, ambiguity and confusion in the new rules. Can we not just, and I think Kevin Cash would have done this, and I think most managers would have done this. It's fine.
All good. Yeah.
All good.
Even though you crossed the foul line, technically it's a mound visit, but come on, you didn't talk to the guy. Let's be good sports here, all right?
Let's finish the game. Let's get on with the game, right? Let's get on.
Like a 10-minute delay, right?
Yeah, which ends exactly. So which ends up working out well for the Rays because it gives Erasmo, who's the only one left in the freaking bullpen, time to warm up instead of just having 8 pitches. And of course, Alex Cora goes to the dais at the podium afterwards and bitches about that too. Oh, they know the rules. They should have enacted the rules. And I, to some degree, I get that you're doing everything you can to win. That's your job as the manager. I get that. But in some situations, I just think that, in sportsmanship, it's almost like I kind of liken it to the replay rules now. Like the other day, I think it was a college baseball game. Some kid hits a walk-off home run and in the celebration misses home plate by this much. And they say he's out and they end the game. And I'm like, is this what we're using replay for? Really? This is what we're using replay for? This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah. He missed the plate by this much because of the celebration. And they I guess they went to the replay, or maybe the umpire saw whatever. I mean, that's not what sports is supposed to be. A lot of these things, especially now with replay, there's these rules and fractions, to the millimeter, blah, 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 which I think is not the spirit of the game that we intended replay to fix. Right. And this is, I think I would put this in the same category. We've got a lot of ambiguous, confusing rules about mound visits and pitch clocks and all this stuff. And it's all really kind of new still. So can we not just as sportsmen say, okay, we're good, just go. Yeah. And if somebody gives you crap for it, and I'm sure there would be fans that would give you crap for it, it's your job as the manager to hold them to the letter of the law and blah, 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 blah. I would say no. There still has to be sportsmanship in the game. There still has to be some clarity of thought. Can we diffuse the situation and not throw people in handcuffs? Can we, it all kind of comes full circle, right? Can we all just be a little bit more tolerant, which we'll talk about a little bit with Harrison Butker? Can we all just calm down a little bit here? Can we please? Like everything has just got to be this side or that side or by the rules or this exact, you got to do this. You got to, you're cheating. I'm like, can we all just calm down a little bit and just relax and like keep the bigger picture in mind? Can we be a little tolerant? Can we have a little love? Can we just try to help each other get along in this world that is just kicking our ass? Can we not, Timmy?
No, apparently we can't, JP, and that shouldn't surprise you. But, the whole replay thing in baseball, I'm all for it. But can we just stick to the plays that matter? The close calls at first base, the close calls at home plate. Did the ball hit the ground before it went in the outfielder's mitt when he dove for it? Is it an out? Is it a hit? I mean, the plays that matter that we wanted replay for in the first place. It's the whole reason we wanted it, right? Just to get the call right. Not to make the umps look stupid. Just to get the call right. Just like in the NFL, it's the same situation. But, man, it is getting out of hand.
It's totally out of hand. And then it leads to all these minuscule infractions, like Alex Cora bitching about this. And thankfully, the baseball gods got it right. The baseball gods got it right. And Erasmo comes in, and I think it was the first base, gets a comebacker to the mound. The game's freaking over.
Yeah.
The Rays win in the immortal words of Dave Wills. And all's right with the world. But, and you'll hear from Kevin Cash here, and, he wants to take the heat for this. I have a lot bigger problems with Kevin Cash bringing the infield in the other night, first and third with one out up a run instead of, trying to get the double play. But this, but this is another situation where, they didn't keep track of the mound visits. I'm not going to crush them for that. It's like, come on, we got to count the mound visits now and everything else. This is all new stuff.
Yeah.
So here's Kevin Cash talking about the situation
there and what transpired just to get this W the way that you guys did. Isak coming up in a big moment, Richie as well. What were you seeing there?
Yeah, big at bat, certainly off one of our game's best in Kenley Jansen. Felt like we went up there with probably an aggressive mindset, knowing that he's going to look to get ahead with that cutter. And once he gets ahead, he gets even nastier. So like the guy's approach. Randy had a good at bat to get us going. Johnny Aranda comes in, finds the ball, shoots the ball through the hole, first and third. And then our guys coming up after that were ready to hit.
Can you take us through what happened at the end there? Kyle going out and then Jason having to come out of the game after the real check.
The umpires got the call right, 100% on me. Just I let the mound visits slip in my mind. Forgot the count, realizing that Ben had gone out there early. 100% on me. Umpires handled it right. Glad Erasmo came in there and got a big out.
I was going to say, for Erasmo to warm up so quickly, come in and get that big out, was that impressive to you?
Oh, yeah. Anytime you're getting the last out of a game, it's impressive. And certainly under those unique circumstances that he's standing there waiting for an umpire's call. But I think Erasmo's been around long enough to know that he's got to lock it in, and he did. He made big pitches.
How weird is that pocket of time? They're like playing Mr. Bright,
Yeah, it's
Mr.
a little weird. There's no doubt. There's some anxiety going. But like I said, it's on me. I screwed up, and I'm glad that it didn't cost us a ball game.
Did you know right away? The umpires conferred for a while. Did you know right away?
I had a pretty good feeling that we were going to need to bring another pitcher in.
And it's just the automatic rule. If you exceed the mound visit rule at any point,
if you cross the line, if you cross the foul line, fair foul line.
But I'm saying, as soon as you go out there, it didn't matter that it was earlier that inning that Ben had been out there. It was just the total that you
exceeded. It's a total count, yeah.
At what point did you guys call down to get Erasmo ready? It's pretty quickly once you realized.
Yeah.
The extended delay and review probably helped in that regard, right?
Well, I mean, he's going to get ready one way or the other. They're going to give him time. He's going to have to come in the game and not be ready to pitch.
And then just as far as the whole kind of going back earlier in the game, you guys had the lead. There was a play where you didn't cover first, the run.
Yeah, look, I mean, Johnny's way over. It was very easy for Zach to assume that ball was going to second base. Just unfortunate the way it happened, extended the inning a little bit, and they had some big at-bats. But impressed with the way Zach kept it right there. We kept the lead. Then we ended up giving, them tying
another
it up to Durant, who was on fire tonight. But just overall happy team win. A lot of guys contributed.
Was that a hit and run with Randy?
Hit and run with Randy.
In the ninth there when Randy took off? No. He was just running on his own? He was on the pitch and then Ronda.
Yeah, it was...
Okay. Offensively, just pretty happy with the way you guys capitalized on the opportunities you were given to, as well as making some of your own.
I'm pretty happy with the way we hit throughout the course of the series. When we came in, I mean, it's been pretty noted that how good the Red Sox pitching has been. We saw a bunch of good starters for them, and we saw relievers, and every time a reliever came in, I mean, they're sitting at sub-2 ERAs, so they're doing some good things. So we had to have good at-bats, and we did to win this series. 4-game series are tough. In this ballpark, it makes it even tougher. Happy with the way the guys played.
There you go. Kevin Cash, courtesy of Bally Sports there. Yeah, I mean, he nailed it, the whole thing. And, I guess there was some sloppy play with Littell not covering first base. That's been kind of consistent with the Rays. They got to be better at that. But the bottom line is they came up in some big spots and finally got some big hits, which they have not been doing all year. Score 7 runs. You win 3 out of 4 from the Red Sox in that ballpark. Everything that Cash just said there, these are all good things, really good things for the Rays. So good on them. Again, Alex Cora, I understand I don't know, Timmy. Where you come down on that? As the manager, do you have to be a jerk in that situation, or can you just
So here's the problem when you're a manager, and you know this, JP. Look, if you don't do every possible thing to help your team win, including being a crybaby about something like that, the fans will turn on you so quick because someone will point that out. He should have made him switch pitchers. That's on him, man. He had every opportunity. He was right. That's the letter of the law. He's got to fight for his team better. And if you do, then it's the other team lighting you up, right? So, I mean, you're going to lose either way. That's just the nature of the job and what happens to you. I'm not an Alex Cora fan. I never have been. I didn't like him as a player. I despise him as a manager. And but I get it. You're kind of, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's kind of
what I guess I'm old school, man. I guess I'm old school. And if I'm the manager, I just believe if Kevin Cash was in that same situation, he would look over at Alex and go, let's move on with the game.
Yeah.
You're not getting – are you getting a tactical advantage by making him switch pitchers? Absolutely you are. You are. But who knows? Maybe Erasmo's stuff played better in the moment than Jason Adams did because, he was struggling a little bit. So maybe you bit your own ass there. I don't know. It's like I feel like – you didn't do anything wrong. It's like the guy never got to the mound. Let's just continue. It's ambiguous. It's confusing rules. Let's move on. I don't know.
Especially if the Red Sox come out with a win either way, then we're not even talking about this, but or the Red Sox aren't, but because
they're probably lauding their manager for doing it. But, does he take any heat now for the fact they lost the game? I mean, maybe they should have. The other guy wasn't doing so hot, right? So maybe it caused you to lose the game. Yeah. I don't know, but it just seems to me a lot of this stuff in the world is connected right now, and I think that if we can just offer some deference and some mercy and some, maybe we don't have to go exactly by the letter of the law in this situation and take the bigger picture in mind, and just more than anything. Let's just be nice. Let's be charitable. Let's help each other out. The fans had to sit there for 10 minutes while they went to New York and checked on the rule, and they're playing Mr. Bright side, and they're putting the lights on and off. It's like we're all, we're trying to watch other playoff games here and things are going on. It's just like sometimes it's just better to just be nice and be okay. Yep. Fine. We're good. Because guess what? You still got to pitch the ball. You still got to hit the ball. You still got to make something happen, right? And in that situation, it didn't. And for the Red Sox, so I'm glad it bit them in the ass.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that bad happens to the Red Sox, it's been a good day for me.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, that's all. We can always look at things. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to get into the Harrison Butker situation, the NFL rebuking one of their kickers. This speech,
it's funny.
This speech was, it was interesting. It went a lot of different ways. There's no question about it. So we'll get into that a little bit. Your thoughts on that? We got also some Buck stuff to get to. The Lightning have made a move. So all that stuff coming up. You're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Scott Jeeves and his team of attorneys over there will help you out with whatever your issues are. If you've been in an accident, go with the local attorneys that know the local landscape and can help you out and make you feel important, because you're a local treasure, as we like to say. Some of those outside firms, maybe not so much. Just become a number. It's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Go to the website, contact them through there, and get your free case evaluation. Back in 3. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank. And I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation. And that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
With over 34 years of producing small and large events, Extravaganza Productions is truly a Tampa treasure when it comes to creating some of the very best events in Tampa and all across the United States. I've worked with them at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductions, the Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-sized event spread across all of Tampa Bay. They are the very best, from small meetings to exceptionally large corporate conferences to galas, fundraisers, sporting events, grand openings, whatever you want. Team EPI has an extremely talented staff of designers and show producers that develop extraordinary events fueled by the visions of their clients. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Hydrate Heroes. Get your Hydrate Heroes by going to tryhydrateheroes.com, and you get a free 3-pack. They'll send it to you there. Just put in your address, your email address. They'll send you all 3 of the flavors, and they got the new flavors coming out. Can't wait for that. Michael Gardner, who'll join us later, tells me the tropical punch, fruit punch is amazing. So looking forward to that. But great stuff in there. All the electrolytes, vitamin D, amla fruit, a mushroom blend to help you with inflammation. Only 5 calories per serving. So all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. That's Hydrate Heroes. Tryhydrateheroes.com. All right. I don't know if you saw the show yesterday, Timmy, but we had Brian Ford on, the COO of the Buccaneers.
I did.
Really had a nice chat with him, and I tell you what, does that dude love him and support the fan base like more than any COO I've ever met in my life.
Says all the right things, doesn't he, man?
And it's genuine. You don't feel like he's some of these other people you see in sports, owners and stuff, that they're just kind of giving it lip service. That dude is out there during training camp in the heat, handing out popsicles and waters, I mean, mixing it up with he's cleaning off tables, doing all kinds of stuff. He is a worker bee, and he is just a great dude. And if you missed that interview, we posted it up on Twitter and everywhere else on our socials. Go check that out. And he mentioned a couple of things that were interesting. Number one, that Gronk, who was in their video, their schedule release video, and will be there, and it's kind of like the guest host for the Cut for the Cure, which is coming up June 6th. And you go to gronktampa.com to get more information on that. For $100, you can be part of the whole deal and get a signed picture with from Gronk. So that's pretty cool. And anyway, great stuff from him. Really appreciate him coming on yesterday. I just wanted to mention that if you guys missed it, to go check that out as we transition to the NFL. So Harrison Butker, one of the greatest kickers in the game, the Kansas City Chief, two-time Super Bowl champion, and a very outspoken religious Catholic man.
Mm-hmm.
Gave a commencement speech. I don't know if you saw the whole thing. I did. And I took some notes.
Wow.
So
you're studying for a final there.
Well, I just wanted, one of the things that happens all the time when situations like this happens is, the Twitter goes bananas and 99% of the people don't even listen to the speech. They just go by what other people are putting out there. And if they're of like political belief, they parrot what they're saying. And oftentimes, if you do that at your peril. And then you finally go watch the speech, whether you agree with it or not. And you're like, man, there's a lot of people that are of my political persuasion that are ripping this guy. And I'm like, and not in this case, and I'm like, wow, that wasn't that bad. I don't know what you people are talking about. So it's always, I think, very instructive to go listen to the whole thing, which I did. And, and to be quite honest, there's a few things in there that I certainly don't agree with at all whatsoever. And there's a lot of things in there that I do agree with. And I think what really struck me the most about his speech, was the reaction to it is that the complete lack of tolerance, for anything or anybody that doesn't believe what you believe. And I thought he took a lot of people to task, mostly Catholics. Here's a devoutly Catholic man who is ripping into the Catholic leadership, which, by the way, probably deserves it. Well, not probably, definitely deserves it. Definitely. So I find that very, he's brave enough to take on a lot of the Catholic hierarchy for things that he believes are not being adhered to in the Catholic religion. And again, I'm not, I'll just be quite honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of organized religion in myself. Although I feel, I have a personal relationship with God. I would describe myself as a religious person. I wouldn't describe myself as an overly zealous religious person. But I've had my issues with organized religion. I think a lot of people have. But I can separate that from my personal relationship with God. That's just my personal feelings. And so, to anybody who thinks that this was just a misogynistic, gay bashing speech, there was part of it in there that I just don't agree with. And that's basically calling being gay a deadly sin. I'm not down with that. Can't be down with that. And the strict adherence to some religious teachings, not all, of what being gay is all about. I don't see that. I think God loves all of us. That's just my personal opinion. If you are strictly, believe what the Bible says about it, that's your opinion. It doesn't happen to be mine, and it doesn't happen to be many's. So there are some things in that speech that I did not agree with. But I think the biggest thing that he talked about is getting back to traditional values, and traditional values being men in the home, fathers in the home, the problem with absentee fathers in this country, which is an absolute epidemic. And I think it leads to violence and a lot of bad things. And and that's a call to men to step up. I think a lot of this was seen as a misogynistic attack on women because he was championing the role of mothers and telling people, and in this case, and Tim, I think you brought this up in our pre-show. If you're at a graduation where women are graduating and moving into the working world, maybe not the place to do a speech on And I don't think he was saying you have to be a mother.
Right.
I was just saying it's his opinion that you will be happier if you raise your children and you become a mom. His opinion. He wasn't trying to tell all these, you're the devil if you decide to go into a career. It's not what he said at all. But he was championing what his personal experience has been with his wife, who has been and he gave a lot of credit to his wife. Well, all the credit says, I cannot be what I am. Would not have succeeded without my wife and our partnership as a family, and gave so much credit to her, and so much so that he got emotional about it and had to stop speaking because he honestly believes, even with the gifts that he's been given as one of the greatest kickers of all time, he would not have that success without his wife. And I totally believe that because, 99% of kicking is here, right? And if you're not right mentally, if you have issues at home and things aren't going well there, I don't think you could be a great kicker. I don't think you'd be a great golfer. I don't think you could do anything in sports if your personal life is askew. Look at Tiger Woods. What was his downfall?
Wow.
Right? So I think in a lot of ways, the speech is, of course, taken out of context. And again, I don't agree with all of it. And the NFL rebuking him and distancing him so quickly, I thought was a little weird, especially with all the things that happen in the NFL that statements aren't written for, like, Rashid Rice. Remember that, Tim?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I believe you witnessed
I was there.
Yeah. Did the NFL put out a statement on driving drunk and driving, even though one of their players killed somebody going 150 miles an hour in a Corvette recently?
Yeah.
They put out a statement against what Rashid Rice did? I don't recall.
Crickets.
Yeah. And people pointed out that hypocrisy as well. So, it just, there's a lot going on here, but what really strikes me more than anything else is the complete lack of tolerance of people being able to express their opinions. And if they don't agree with yours, that we somehow now we have to have a petition of 100,000 people that want him canceled. We want him off. You can't play for the Chiefs. We want you canceled. The city of Kansas City, their official Twitter saying he doesn't live here. He lives in another county, which they had to take down. And they basically doxed him. And the Missouri Attorney General said, yeah, we're not putting up with that. Someone wants to express their religious beliefs. We're going to protect that like we protect all civil rights.
Isn't that why we're in America? That's why America exists.
That's what I thought. Now, that doesn't mean he shouldn't be criticized. I don't have a problem with that. Absolutely. I'm criticizing him for some of the things he said.
Yeah,
absolutely. But it doesn't, but why does everybody have to be canceled? Why do you have to ruin their lives because they speak something? And some of the stuff that he said about traditional values is being attacked. Well, if you want the freedom to be able to talk about your values, then you better protect the other people that are talking about their values. I may not believe what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. And that's where, we have definitely fallen on deaf ears. I mean, we now have government sponsored censorship.
Yep.
Imagine that. And people applauding it, like journalists applauding it. You know why? Because they're censoring the people you want censored as a journalist. But if you know anything about history, you're next.
Yeah.
And you may not like it when it happens to you. So it's the world is just turned upside down. I mean, people will, they will rip you and try to silence you for wanting for the sin of wanting a ballpark built near where maybe the fans are. No, we got to cancel you for that. We got to cancel you for that. Well, maybe that deal is not what it should be. Maybe we should be spending more on affordable housing. Maybe they're like all the people that came to the lectern yesterday at the city council meeting in St. Pete, like 90% of them, I'm not sure, at least I didn't see all of them, but most of them were like, yeah, I can't pay my rent. Nobody can afford their rent or food here in St. Petersburg. And we're going to give hundreds of millions of dollars to some people that are pretty damn wealthy. I don't know. And if you say that, you need to be canceled. I mean, it's crazy. Can we not just be a little bit tolerant of people? And I hope to God that if this stadium is built, that it does help the people of St. Pete. I hope that all the things that they say they're going to do, that they do. I hope that happens. I hope it creates hundreds of thousands of high paying jobs, and it becomes a huge success for the people. I want it to work. If they build it, I want it to work. I don't think it will, but I want it to work. I want it to be a great expenditure of public funds that really helps the people. That would be nice. But it doesn't always work out that way, is what I've seen in other deals that have been done in this manner. See Miami.
No,
So,
and your whole take on the Rays Stadium situation, you're basing all of that on factual historical things that have happened before that will be the detriment to the existing plan as it is in place now, right?
yeah.
But you're not just throwing out there, well, I don't like it down there. I don't want it down there because I don't like it. I don't think it'll be good down there. We have, you just mentioned the Miami situation, right? And their stadium, it's a complete disaster. All of the city council members that helped that thing get pushed through are all gone now.
Yeah.
The same thing's going to happen in
Career's
Tampa.
over. Yeah.
But when we're talking about Butker and his speech and his opinions and his religious views and all of that, people don't like when people express those things if they're different than the way you think. But then those people who are mad at him, who are trying to cancel him, don't understand that the very thing you're doing by criticizing him and trying to cancel him, that would also take away your rights to criticize him and cancel him.
Exactly.
It's counterproductive, because if you take away his rights to speak about what he wants to, about how he feels about things, then you don't get to either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's kind of how it works. That's kind of how it works. So
man.
I just, again, at times I'm guilty of this, being a little bit too overzealous and not as maybe polite as I need to be. But in sports radio, it's hard to be polite, and you have to. You have to have an opinion, right? And you have to be vociferous in your opinion. You have to back it up. You have to have some emotion and some passion about it. I don't want that to be misconstrued as, being nasty or mean. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes it is. But again, I wish the Rays all the luck. If this goes through and everything happens the way it should happen, that's fantastic for the city. And I hope it all works. And I hope the ballpark is filled. And I hope it's a tremendous success. I probably don't say that enough, right? I probably don't say that enough. What Mr. Vinnick has done in Tampa has been tremendous. And, there hasn't been all this investment that has come in and things that were built and jobs that were done. It's fantastic. It's worked out extremely well. And it's, at least in my mind, it's been handled much differently than what's going on over here in St. Petersburg. So I just want what's best for the Rays, what's best for the fans, what's best for the people. And I don't, I'm just a little guy here trying to make a living talking about sports, but if you piss people off, they don't like that. They don't like that. And I just want everybody to know that if it works and everything happens the way they say it's going to happen, fantastic. It's been my experience that when, and a lot of other people that are looking at this, that it doesn't look right now. Yeah. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I just hope it works out for everybody. And and God bless them. If the project works, great. But we'll see. And when it comes back to Harrison Butker or anybody else, I think we got to have a little bit more tolerance. And the NFL probably needs to be a little bit more consistent. And what we've created here is division, right? It's just we're constantly creating division when we should be, when we should be like, hey, you know what? I don't agree with this dude, but let's sit down and have a beer and we'll discuss it and agree to disagree, but still be friends. And we're still human beings. We're still Americans, and we should support one another and not, go by every letter of the law sometimes, as this all comes back to full circle. Right. Hey, Scotty Scheffler's just trying to get into playing a golf tournament. This cop's just trying to do his job. Can we all just get along?
Yeah.
Harrison Butker's trying to promote family values as he sees them. Some of that stuff is good. Some of it ain't so good that he talked about. But let's just not run out and have to cancel everybody. So,
well, and the NFL could have endeared to a lot of people on both sides had the statement been more something to the effect that while we don't agree with some of the things Harrison Butker said in his commencement speech or whatever the thing was that he did, we absolutely 100% support and value his ability to say it in the free country of America. Just something like that, you know? We don't agree with everything that he said, but the fact that he has the ability to say it, we support that.
Right. There could be a very unifying message there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But
missed opportunity once again by the NFL.
It comes off as divisive, rebuking, and it's not because even the NFL has come to the realization and started promoting in some of their promotions about fatherhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I'm sure a lot of NFL players, not only Harrison Butker, believe in very deeply. I know Tony Dungy does. I know Derek Brooks does. I know Ronnie Barber does. I know Todd Bowles does. I mean, these guys are amazing fathers. And they also know that we need more of them. And we need to support guys staying home with their children and supporting their children, not running out on their children, leaving a mom with, 3 kids, no income, and they're just gone.
Yep.
Like, dudes, what are you doing? Step up. Those are your children. And that's not that's happening, unfortunately, in a lot of places. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to some of your comments on this subject, and we're also going to get to some lightning news as well. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. The Memorial Day sale is going on right now. Get your butt in there and buy that ring. 5 years free financing, 0% financing, so you can get a $5,000 ring for $83 a month. All right, so go get that big old ring and put it on her finger and be a great guy and support your woman and your kids. All right, we are definitely advocating for a marriage and the men doing the right thing.
Yep.
But if you want to have a career, you can do that too.
Yep. Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever makes you happy is what you should do. At the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Listening to The Strike. 102.5 WHPT HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
It's Diamond Days at the Gold and Diamond Source because April's birthstone is diamonds. As they take center stage, get up to 20% off all diamond jewelry. And our first-time buyers program will help you get educated about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. And remember, you only want natural diamonds, folks. It takes billions of years to form a natural diamond. You don't want something that was made in a factory just a couple of weeks ago. And remember, your Gold and Diamond Source diamond never loses its value. You can always trade up at the Gold and Diamond Source for a bigger, better one. And they will spend the time to educate you about your diamonds and how to take care of them. And of course, consider the Golden Diamond Source to maintain and insure your jewelry. They can professionally clean it, check the settings, and make any necessary repairs to keep your jewelry in top condition. It's the 40th anniversary of the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Friday as we roll through. Scotty Scheffler is playing golf. He's not in jail.
He's out of handcuffs.
He's out of handcuffs.
Although, if you think about it, if your hands are in handcuffs, that might help your swing, your grip a little bit, right? Because it's going to help you keep your wrists together.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know.
Might feel a little weird. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You could actually play. If anybody could play golf in handcuffs, it's Scotty Scheffler. So,
is there anything he can't do with a golf club?
Yeah, I'll be interesting to see if he got injured from the.
Those golfers are a little bit more flexible than the rest of us. Most part, I think maybe the hands behind, like me, that hurts. Going back there, but for golfers, it's probably like it's nothing. It's I don't know.
The one time, this twice I've been put in handcuffs for nothing violent, by the way.
Sure.
The one time was both times actually for having my license suspended, and I was not aware that it was suspended.
Happened to me as well.
Yeah, so I didn't know you could even get arrested for that.
Yeah.
But the one time I was involved in a traffic accident in Atlanta, and this young cop pulled us both over, and we pull over, and he recognized me from our show in Atlanta. And he's a big Falcons fan. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Peterson, this, that, and the other." And he comes back, after talking, going on the radio, running my license, and he's like, "I got some bad news, Mr. Peterson." I'm like, well, "What's the problem?" He's like, "Your license is suspended in Florida." And I'm like, "It is?" Because I had gotten a red light camera thing, so obviously I wasn't pulled over. Did not know that I ran the red light. And I didn't show up in court because they send the notification to your house. Well, I wasn't living at that house.
Yeah,
I was renting it out, and I was living in Atlanta, so I had no idea that I got caught for a red light. I had no idea I missed a summons. I had no idea my license was suspended. No idea. And so he's like, "I gotta arrest you." I'm like, "What?"
Can you imagine how hard that was for him?
It was so hard for him. He was like 21 years, like I don't even think he was shaven yet. Nicest kid in the world. And he's like putting on the handcuffs. He's like, is that too tight?
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, yeah, it is a little. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me loosen him. He's like,
funny.
And then he told me, he goes, I gotta handcuff you. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. But it's like regulation. If I put you in the car and I arrest you, I got to put handcuffs on you. I'm like, oh, all right, sure, whatever.
That's crazy.
It was the most bizarre arrest of all time, but he was very nice about it. Now the ladies that booked me into the jail weren't so nice.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
Yeah, they act like they really love their job, don't they?
Oh my God.
Scotty Scheffler update, JP.
Yes.
Birdie's the par. He teed off on the back 9 today. Started on 10. Birdie's the par 5 10th. Bogeys the par 3 11th.
Ooh, that's tough.
So he's currently on 12. He hit his drive 294 yards. Got about 180 left to the pin.
Okay. All right. So he's off and running. Birdie's the first. So he didn't slam dunk it for eagle like he did yesterday.
Oh my Lord! Right?
How amazing. And it was so funny. I'm watching. I think Trevor Immelman, was talking about, he might be a little rusty after taking time off. And it's like, whoosh, could you
slam dunk? Nothing but net.
And he's like, well, I guess he's not very rusty. I mean, you might think that, but no. He slam dunks the first one.
Grieve.
Yeah. And you're just like, holy hell. This is like, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. And then he goes on to shoot, 67 yesterday?
Yeah.
And didn't feel very good about it. I guess that's why he was getting there early this morning to work on some things. Well,
and he had a couple of bogeys yesterday too. It's not like his game was flawless.
Right. Yeah.
He had the eagle on 1, but other than that, he had 4 birdies and 2 bogeys.
Yeah.
Very normal. If you take away that eagle on the first hole,
Yeah.
It's 269. Like,
Yeah.
that's not impressive for Scotty Scheffler. You know?
Well, Xander's out there shooting 62. I mean,
yeah,
that dude did not miss a shot. He was making everything. It's by the way, that course is just breathtaking. Just there's like so many interesting things about that course. Have you ever played Valhalla?
No, I've not.
No, Johnny said he had, and I'm like, well, that is definitely on the bucket list. I definitely want to play that place. That looks absolutely beautiful. So, Scotty Scheffler off and running, and we'll see how that plays out this week. Be very, very interesting. All right, to get to some of the commenters here today. Good morning to you, Nathan Elliott, who's going to the Bucks Dallas game. That should be fun. Christopher Cole said the world is politically too politically correct and cancel culture is going crazy. Ain't that the truth? From Nathan, got random email from Brian that contained the invite to the cut and color for a cure. How about that? Totally random and personalized with info that we had talked about previously. Are you kidding me? Because we mentioned on the interview, I said, hey, Nathan Elliott says hello, and he sends him a personal message. I'm telling you, Brian Ford is a special kind of dude. Brian changing shirts 4 times. Ford is the man. Yes, he is. Yes. Christopher, we have no freedom of speech anymore. That's the truth. Easy, there's a reason Butker's jersey is the #1 seller. Not the majority. How about that?
For a kicker. For a kicker.
Yeah. I thought it was also interesting that he quoted Taylor Swift in the speech as well. Familiarity brings contempt. Yes. Yep. There you go. Mason says, America isn't easy. America's advanced citizenship. You've got to want it bad because it's going to put up a fight. You're going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make you pissed off. That's a great point, Nathan. It's a great point. Just trying to see what else. Oh, is this the speech from Network, Jeff Elliott's speech? You want to claim that this land is the land of the free? The symbol of your country cannot just be a flag. The symbol also has to be one of its citizens exercising his right to burn that flag in protest. Now show me that, defend that, celebrate that in your classrooms, and you can stand up and sing about the land of the free. Oh, Andrew Shepard, the American president. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
it was a great movie, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm as guilty about. Well, I won't say as some others, but you have to be careful sometimes, and I think you also have to differentiate between disagreeing with people and canceling them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even though I disagreed with a lot of what Colin Kaepernick did and said, I defend the right to the death his right to say it. I don't always think time and place is perfect, which you mentioned about Harrison Butker. I don't necessarily think that was maybe the time and place for that particular message. Some would disagree, but I think that's also a part of it. But yeah, you if you disagree, that's okay.
Yep.
Let's just not try to cancel everybody because you disagree. All right, to some other stuff. The Tampa Lightning signed Mitchell Chaffee yesterday, and maybe the biggest news was it's a 2-year deal for $800,000 AAV, which is great value contract for this young player who is third on the team in hits with 88, and I think he only played 30 games. 4 goals, 7 points in those 30 games. I was very impressed with him in the playoffs, and really seems to be a playoff kind of player. You know, that type of person that he's got size. I think he can definitely grow in his skating ability, which the Lightning are expert at. I really think it's a guy that fits the culture of the Lightning. This is a great signing at great value, which is something they need moving forward with a lot of these bigger contracts that contain the core. We need to find guys like Mitchell Chaffee who can produce and be role players that don't make a whole hell of a lot of money if the Lightning are going to be successful moving forward. So I think a great signing for the Lightning, and hopefully this it'll be interesting how this team is remade in the offseason. And obviously the Stamkos deal is out there. Whether, when that happens, how it's going to happen will actually, determine, where this team is going in the very, in the next few years. And I still think they'll get that done. I just cannot see Steven Stamkos wearing another sweater. I don't think he wants to, but there has to be, a level of competitiveness in the offer that meets his age and his future and where he's at in his career. And I'm not sure if the two sides are really in tune on that right now. So
yeah,
we'll have to see where. And I hope it works out like the Mike Evans thing, where it takes a little bit of time, and where they both kind of realize that they can't live without each other, and they both have to make some compromises to move forward for both of them. And like any good relationship, there's got to be some compromise, and hopefully that will be the case. Because I think if Steven leaves, I don't think it's going to be great for him, and I don't think it's going to be great for the Lightning. I think we're both organizations, both entities are losers in that equation. So let's hope it doesn't come to that. But
definitely,
he's his own man. And I'm sure he sees things a lot differently than we do as the media and fans, because it's so close to him. But we'll see where it goes from there. All right, we'll take another quick break. At the top of the hour, Jason Powers is going to join us here in a little bit. We'll talk with him about all the different topics that we hit here. Get into a little bit of the playoffs going on. Pacers and Knicks tonight. That should be a good one. We'll get into the hockey as well. We're brought to you by Extravaganza Productions. Big events, small events, they do it all. If you got a charity event coming up, if you got a big birthday coming up, a graduation, you want the pros to handle that party, come up with some great creative ideas. Well, you get a free creative session with the folks at Extravaganza, their producers, if you mention the JP Peterson Show. So contact them through the website, extravaganzaproductions.com. Call them, email them, tell them JP sent you. Back at 3.
Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you were thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Oh my God, this is incredible. I got to tell you a story here in a second.
Look like something's going on.
Yeah, it's all good though. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Geddes Gordon Group. If you're in the market for a house, go see our good friend Jane Geddes. They will find you something great. They'll find you a great property, and they'll negotiate a great price for you as well. So if you're thinking about getting back in the real estate game, now's a good time to do it. Prices have stabilized. They've come down a little bit. The inventory is up in Tampa. So before things go crazy again, get back in there and find something that you like if you're in the market. It's the Geddes Gordon Group. Go to GeddesGordonGroup.com and tell them JP sent you. So do you remember the movie Dumb Money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The Roaring Kitty, whole GameStop thing like that. Well, it's happening again. And Ashley is in and got in early on this stock called FFIE. So it's happening again, and it's going bananas. And she's made a ton of money in the last 4 days, and is holding. It popped back down yesterday for a little bit, but they're like just in a movie. You got to hold. You hold. All the hedge fund guys that shorted the stock. All those things expired today, so they lost their ass today, and the stock keeps going up. And like, how far is it going to go? Nobody knows. And now most of the people were getting the information on Reddit. Well, they not only have they shut down the stock trading like 7 times yesterday, they did it again today, but now they shut down the Reddit. So,
oh my God!
Yeah, so they moved everything to it's like all the grassroots people are trying to make this run on this stock. Screw the hedge fund guys, just like the movie. It's all happening again in real time. And now the regulators are like, "Oh yeah, shut down we're shutting down the Reddit." Now they've moved to WhatsApp. They're going to shut down they're getting all these corporations to beat up the little guy and keep chasing him. But as long as they have a place to talk, it can keep it going and keep bringing more people in. It's crazy. It's happening again in real time right now. And we're in on it. So
that is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. The stock has gone from, what was it, 0.04 cents on Monday to what? $3.46. $3.46. So 0.04 to 3.46.
Wow. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
May need to take out a loan.
Yeah. It may not be too late. I don't know. Jump in. Everybody jump in. Get that stock going higher. Let's go. You never know how high it's going to. GameStop went to 400.
Good Lord.
So you never know. All right, let's bring in our good friend Jason Powers. I hope you got some money in FFIE, my friend, and you're rolling the wave.
The JP Peterson Money Store now.
Oh, you might be hosting this show on Monday, baby. I'm out. I will be out. I should be like, yeah, you're out. I'm taking the money. How are you, partner?
I'm good. Lots going on today.
You think?
Obey the cops. When the cops say stop for a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes.
I don't think Scotty Scheffler thought he was a cop. I think he thought he was just like, one of the volunteers that didn't know what was happening. And I mean, the details are where it's at in this thing, right? He says he didn't know about the fatality. Number one, he says he was told to just hold out your badge and drive through when you get up there. And evidently this cop didn't know he was a player. And it was my point in the whole thing, Jason, was, can we all just chill? If your cop tells you to stop.
I
Absolutely.
agree. 5 more minutes of Scotty Scheffler's time is not going to kill him at 6 o'clock in the morning.
No, but I've gone through situations like that, right? Where, you have a media badge or something like that, and somebody comes up to you and they're like, they don't know what's going on. And you're like, hey, I'm with the media, and and then I'll stop you. And then you have to explain everything. Sometimes you just wave the badge and just keep walking. Right. And then, and it's a matter of seconds that this thing happens. So I don't know. What's your take on it?
I mean, here's what I would say. If you're Scotty Scheffler, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, you're not teeing off for another 2 hours. If it takes another 5 more minutes, and I know it's inconvenient and you want to stay on schedule, I get it. But if the cop tells you to stop. Take an extra 5 minutes. If you have to call your agent, hey, I'm having a problem here. Can you help me here? Call your caddy. Maybe he's already there. I don't know. Again, we don't know all the details. Did he say something he shouldn't have said to the cop? When you mentioned the cop got on his car. If a cop's getting on your car, stop driving.
Yeah.
You
if
better
the
not
volunteer's getting on your car, like whoever the hell it is. If they're attaching himself to your car, stop. Right?
Stop. So,
unless it's an absolute, dire emergency, which getting to the gym is not.
Hopefully it was just a misunderstanding, and hopefully it gets worked out and no issue. But hopefully that's the way it ends up. Move on.
And he goes out and birdies the first hole.
Right.
Birdied 2 of the first 3 holes.
Well, there you go. So
weather's supposed to be miserable today over there too, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays. The weather's supposed to be really bad over there.
Tim's theory is the guys are a Rory fan.
And the funny thing is, if Justin Spieth, we all talk about Rory winning another major. If Justin Spieth were to win this week, he wins the Grand Slam.
Yeah,
that's even a bigger story than Rory winning another major. Spieth can win the Grand Slam.
Yeah, but Spieth's probably never going to win another golf tournament in his life, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Do you think so?
I think he's cooked, man.
I don't. I think these golfers. Scotty Scheffler will go through a spurt here at some point where he doesn't win for a year and a half or 2 years, whether it's swing, whether it's family life, whether it's whatever. All these guys go through little swoons of not playing really well.
Yeah, Spieth gets in his own head too much, though, man. I think he's way deep down inside his head right now. He'll win again, but it may be a while. He went through that drought the first time, and I think he's going to see another one of those.
How crazy was it that apparently Rory was wearing his wedding ring on Sunday at Quail Hollow, and then Monday the announcement of the divorce and all that stuff?
What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we have any details on that yet?
All we know is that he's the one that filed.
Right.
And that tells you a little bit probably, and look how well he's playing now. Yep. I mean, that's something to do with it, man. I'm telling these guys that get married young, their game goes to crap, right? If they start having kids, their game goes to crap. Except for Scotty, apparently. We'll see how that works out for him.
Right.
Rory's not that young anymore. I think Rory's like 34, 35 now. I mean, he's not a young guy anymore.
Yeah.
But
define young.
Exactly, young. JP. You and I know that. Dang.
I don't know. For me, young's anything younger than 48.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
34 is pretty young to me. I don't know.
I know it is for sure.
Young guy.
A great spot with Brian Ford yesterday. That was really good.
Hey, what struck you about that interview? Like, you watched it. What he understands his role with the Buccaneers in the community. I think he stays out of the way and lets his guys do their job. Mm-hmm. I actually saw him last week. I was at the Girls Flag Football Championships that the Bucs hosted, and I saw Brian Ford walking around. So he's always involved with Buccaneer stuff. I think sometimes the Buccaneers get a bad rap in the community a little bit, that they're not really involved and they'll do a lot. Brian Ford's a great representative for the Bucs. Well, I think that reputation may have been deserved 15 years ago,
right?
But not anymore, especially since Brian's come on board,
right?
I mean, the Lightning. I mean, they are the gold standard when it comes to community involvement, and but I dare say the Bucs are not far behind. They are not far behind. I might be a little bit, a little bit biased because I work for the Lightning,
right?
But I'm telling you, the Bucs are not far behind. What they've done. And how they treat their fans, I think, has drastically changed in the last since Brian came on. I think they're absolutely doing a tremendous job on every level. I know some fans get pissed off that not every fan, unless you're a season ticket holder, you can't get into training camp. I think they have a couple days where you can. But my feeling is this: if you have an opportunity to buy a season ticket for $450, I think it is. Right, for a Buccaneers, at least that's what it was a couple of years ago.
Right,
and you decide not to. Well, then you're not a fan. You're not a fan. You want to be part of the crew. Be part of the crew. If you don't want to, I understand. Finances are tough, but $450 for a season ticket or whatever it is now, it may be a little bit higher than that. If you're going to be a fan, let's be a fan. So I don't know. I like the way they do things for their members. They really give them a lot of value for the season ticket membership. I think the Lightning do the same thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's tricky because football tickets and the football viewing experience is so different than it used to be with so much gambling and fantasy football. People want to watch multiple screens and games at a time, so the in-house viewing experience of going to a Bucs games is a little different than it used to be. Just if you like NFL and all the different things that go along with it, but yeah, they've done a much better job. Obviously, they got the Glazers had a bad rap back in the day when the stadium deal happened and all that stuff back in the late '90s, early 2000s.
A long time ago. Yeah,
but they've gotten a lot better. They've been much more, again, hard to uphold what the Lightning do as far as the financial contributions they make with the $50,000 they give away every game, every home game, which is a great thing. I'd love to see the fans have a little more access to training camp, because I remember back in the day, I used to go to the University of Tampa when I was a high school kid and sit there and watch 2-a-days and 3-a-days back in the day. I don't have a big beef with what the Bucs are doing. I think they've gotten way better and a lot of community involvement. And with the flag football, if you're not a flag football fan, their involvement with Darcy, Glazer, Castlewitz, and what they've done on the girls flag football side of things has been really good. State of Florida wide, not just Tampa, all throughout the state of Florida, their contributions in that area as well.
What was that like, that flag football thing? I saw some video. The crowds were huge.
Oh, it's great.
A lot of energy in that building, huh?
And you had 2 Tampa teams involved. Robinson and Leonard was involved. And if you know, Robinson and Alonzo high schools are nationally known flag football programs. So they've been in Super Bowl ads. They were in the Super Bowl ad a couple years ago when the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, so Tampa is a hotbed for girls flag football, and it was a great event. Hopefully they'll retain the event at One Buck Place or the Advent Health Center moving forward, because they had the biggest attendance they've ever had for the state championship. So yeah, they did a great job.
Jason Powers joining us here. Tell folks about your podcast. You got a really, really good podcast and what you're doing here locally.
Yeah, just Powers on Sports podcast. We've had you on before several times, and we just talk sports and weekly podcast. Talk a lot of stuff sports related. I do a Bucs podcast with your guy Peter Blake, No Quarter Given. It's an all Bucs podcast. I do a little work with Spectrum Sports. I do part of their Spectrum 360 show at night. I know the 10:30 at night on Spectrum, so I do a little bit of work for them. So yeah, just trying to be like you, JP, the man.
Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. All right, did you watch the Rays game last night? What did you think about that? All those shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, somebody in that dugout's got to tell Kevin Cash you can't go out there to make that second. Somebody's got to be on top of that. That's a bad look for the Rays coaching staff. I know. You can't make that mistake. I mean, that's just you can't do that. And the Boston Rays rivalry has always been a little testy over the years, and they're always going to, every time they get a chance to jab each other, they're going to do that. But if you're the Rays, you can't make that mistake in the 9th inning there. And fortunately, they got out of it, and hopefully the Rays can get on a low run. I think it's going to be one of those years where they're going to win 3, lose 3, win 3, lose 3 kind of deal. I think it's going to be they're going to be in the mix for the wild card, I think, but it's not going to be a year where there's going to be an absolute for sure playoff berth in the making.
How many wins? You got them at?
If they can get to 87 or 88, maybe. I mean, it's going to be tough. They're in a tough division. I mean, Randy, and you got to get going. He's hitting 159. I mean, at some point, you either with his contract coming up, it'd be interesting to see what the Rays do with his contract coming up here.
Yeah.
What do you do with Jose Siri? You've had some good contributions from some guys from the minor leagues, but man, you're going to live and die with how Randy's got to perform if you're going to be a playoff contender here moving forward. He's got to be better.
You moving him down the lineup? What are you doing with him?
I mean, probably a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, to me, I never understood why it's such a big thing if you move a guy down 1 or 2 spots in the lineup. Everybody said, well, he can't hit anything other than 2nd or 3rd. Well, sure he can. He can hit 4th or 5th or 6th if you need him to. I mean,
8th if you need him to. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but
until he gets hot.
Yeah. You got to figure. I mean, yeah. And the Rays are all about analytics and what have you done for me lately? So let's, if you got to move him down. If you give him a day off here and there, but you got to get some production out of Randy, or potentially you might have to trade him at the trade deadline, because you can't invest $1 zillion into Randy Arozarena if he's hitting 175, 200.
No, that might be. Well, they're not investing that much money in anybody. They're not investing that much money in Babe Ruth. So that ain't happening. What do you do with Siri? You keep him around, or when it's going to be a log jam? So if there's an odd man out, he's out for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jose Siri's not a big time. he's a good defensive player, but you can find defensive players. You got to find some guy that can be productive and consistently productive.
Yes,
exactly. We can find a guy that can go track down balls in center field. That's not the issue the Rays are having.
So, yeah, I mean, I didn't come down too hard on Cash last night. I think you're right. I think you got to be better than that. And he is not, if I may say this, because I'm a huge Kevin Cash fan, I think he's the best manager in baseball. I don't think he's had a great year. The other night, that debacle in the game they lost in Boston, where you got guys on first and third, one out, you're up a run, extra innings, and the pitcher doesn't know where to go with the ball. I mean, that can't happen. That can't. And by the way, I wouldn't have had the infield in. I'm trying to get a double play and win the game at that particular. And you would have, and that's what would have happened with the comebacker to the mound. What'd you think about that mess?
Yeah, I mean, again, that part of that strategy. Do you try to? Because one run, you still don't lose the game. I mean, you can still you're still at worst you're tied. Even if they were to get a sac fly or a blue pit or something, the game's still tied. So yeah, I'm with you. Play for the double play. Try to win the game. You're right. I don't think he's had his best year so far. We know he's a great manager for what he has to deal with as far as finances and ownership and all that. He's top 2-3 in all of Major League Baseball, no doubt about it. That's and I'm surprised that another team has not made a big run at trying to get him one of these off seasons, whether it's through a trade or something like that. Because you're right. You give this guy a big payroll. I think he could shine from a strategy perspective.
Well, you brought up the payroll. What are your thoughts on how this franchise moves forward? New ownership, stadium, et cetera, et cetera.
That's the big black eye in the room, is this whole stadium deal. I mean, I know you've been on it for years about what to do, and I'm with you. I don't think St. Pete's the place to go. I just worry, you know more than I do as far as the ins and outs of some of the political stuff and deals and the money, but somehow, some way, the deal needs to be in Tampa. I mean, we've never been able to disprove that Tampa can support and would support it with it, because it's never been here. I mean, if it was here and they didn't support it and the attendance wasn't great, then you have all the reason in the world to say let's do something else. But it's never been in the true metropolitan population base that it needs to be in to draw people from Lakeland, Winter Haven, Orlando, because those people are not driving another 45 minutes on top of getting to Tampa, I don't think, very often to go see the Rays.
Well, and that's, it's hard to disprove it, right? You won't know until you actually build it, right? And you do it. But the closest thing you could come, and I think it's very analogous, is the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, they 41 games, 81 games. Okay, so you got the frequency of games, that issue. But to me, if that's the template, you build it in an accessible place, downtown Tampa. You market the hell out of it like the Lightning have done, especially from a grassroots level. You have success, which is the thing the Rays have done, is they've had success. So, that's the hard part is being able to be consistently good on the field. And the Rays have gotten that part right. It's the other part that they haven't gotten right. So I think if a hockey team can sell out 365 or 400 games, whatever it is now in a row, like the Lightning, a baseball team could do the same damn thing, especially if you build a state-of-the-art stadium in an accessible location. I mean, this, as you know, Jason, Tampa has a rich tradition of baseball. Look at the players that we put out per capita, probably the most in Major League Baseball. Everybody who, grows up in Tampa has a freaking baseball glove on their hand by the time they're 3 or 4, girl or guy, right? Softball is huge here as well. So I don't think it's a hard prediction at all.
Yeah, I just wish that we could figure out a way to obviously from the people's perspective, we don't want to pay for the entire stadium. There's got to be some partner. It's got to be a partnership. It's got to be a shared expense to where everybody feels like they're winning. And I, from the ownership's perspective, I get it. They don't want to pay for the whole thing. Nobody ever does. I get it. But it's got to be a shared expense. There's got to be mutual admiration for wanting to do it in whether it's Tampa. There's so much political crap that goes on around that we probably don't even know about when it comes to these kind of deals.
Right.
That makes it tricky, but you got to figure out a way, because at some point, if they don't get a deal done, he's going to leave. They're going somewhere else here. They need to get a deal done and do it.
Like I've always said, I don't think Major League Baseball wants to leave this market. No. They've said that. Rob Manfred's been very, very clear about that. We're not leaving this market, but we got to get the damn stadium thing done. And I just think if we had a Jeffrey Vinnick type owner that the deal would have been done in Tampa 5 years ago. Wouldn't that have been nice? That thing was translucent roof right there in Ybor City. It would already be built, much cheaper. We'd be done with it. It would have cost probably about $150 million total because they would, given them all the naming rights. Would have been so easy. Come on, man, pull the trigger.
I know. It'd be nice to have a Glazers type ownership group or a Mark Cuban type ownership group where I would say money's not a factor, but money's is the third or fourth priority on the list,
right?
As opposed to value and customer experience and all that stuff. So
no, it's a great point. The deeper pockets probably would have made a big difference in that particular case, but it did not happen. All right, anything else you guys talking about on your show?
Yeah, the Bucs schedule. I mean, interesting nugget on the schedule. One couple things I noticed after the bye week: 4 out of 5 games on the road. That's going to be an interesting stretch for the Bucs. 4 out of 5 after the bye week. Yeah, you got 2 out of the first 3 at home against potential rookie quarterbacks. Those are 2 games you got to win. You got to beat the rookie quarterbacks at home, and you got to beat Carolina twice. This is a year where Carolina's still going to be down. You got to figure out to me, there's 5 games on the schedule you got to win. You got to beat Washington. You got to beat Denver with the rookie quarterback. You got to beat Carolina twice, and you got to beat Vegas. You got to beat Vegas at home. That's 5 wins. Then you got 12 more games. Those are all toss-up games. If you can win 5 of those, you're 10-7.
Those are what I got them at. I got them at 10-7.
Yeah, I mean, can Baker Mayfield put together that second year in a row of consistent play? That's the only thing he hasn't proved to me is can you go 2 years in a row of really good play? And that's I think you got a chance to be good. I think they did a great job in the draft. Great job with Barton there. That's a perfect pick for them. It's not a sexy pick. It's perfect, and it fits the need perfectly.
No, I agree with you there. And I think for Baker, this is a totally different deal, than where he's been in the past.
Yeah,
he's got continuity in the players that he's playing with. Obviously, a new OC and a new system, but with a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
So I think that continuity and the fact that he's got the new contract, he's got the stability. He knows he's going to be here for a while. I think that changes everything. And I expect him to have a big year, be better than it was last year.
And I think Liam Combs going to be a nice addition. I like all the shifting and all the motions that the Rams do, and he's done in his days at Kentucky and with the Rams. That's the one thing you got to do in the NFL these days. You got to move guys around in the formation. And I love that Chris Godwin's going to be back in the slot strictly. That's where he makes his bread and butter. I think that's going to be a perfect addition. I think you're going to have a great battle for the outside spot with McMillan and maybe a Trey Palmer for that outside spot. I think those 2 guys are going to be with some added speed. I think a little more speed. And again, Bucky Irving, watch out for Bucky Irving. It's going to be a perfect complement, I think, to Rachaad White. That's going to be a great little 1-2 punch, I think.
Yeah, people are talking about there's a competition there. I don't think there's a competition. I'm a big Rachaad White fan. I think he'll be better.
But you got to have 2. Two.
Got to have 2. Yeah.
And it's kind of like a work done. Bucky Irving's kind of like the little work done, scat back kind of guy. And I like that. And the Bucs haven't had that kind of speed out of the backfield as their number 2 guy. That's been a big factor. So,
all right. So I had to put you on the spot here for a couple of things. What do you do with Stamkos?
To me, this has got to be a Mike Evans situation. Both sides got to give a little bit. I think if you're Stamkos, sure, could you go somewhere else for another couple years and maybe have a Stanley Cup run? But you'll be an all-time legend here if you play your entire career in Tampa. You'll be a Leroy Selman kind of guy here in the Tampa Bay market. I think Mike Evans kind of guy. I think if you're Stamkos, you got to figure it out. I think if you're the Lightning, you got to give Stamkos a little bit of hope that, hey, we're still going to be competitive here. We're not just going to throw in the towel for 2 years. But I think if you're Stamkos, you can't make elite money. You got to drop. You've made a ton of money in your career. You're not you can't spend everything you've made in your whole career. The Lightning have been very loyal to you. Figure out a way to make it work, and let's end this career where it needs to end here.
Totally. And anything on the Harrison Butker situation? Have you formulated an opinion on that?
I mean, again, to me, was that the right place to say all that stuff related? Yet college graduates, you want to keep everything positive. To me, it's a graduation speech. I don't have any problem with what he said, but maybe that wasn't the perfect environment to say it in at a graduation. I mean, you got a lot of kids that are looking to try to make a dollar. And one thing I would say with Butker, it's a little bit iffy because Butker's never been in a situation where his wife maybe had to work. He's always had an NFL career where he was the breadwinner and he's making a ton of money for his whole career.
Yeah,
if he was a free agent kicker making $15 an hour working at Chick-fil-A, training on the side because he couldn't make it, maybe his stance is a little different related to the misses. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's always a little tough when the guys that are making all the money can say, "Oh, my wife can stay at home. It's not a problem." Yeah, because you maybe don't need those dollars.
Yeah,
a lot of families do and all that stuff. But not a problem with what he said, but maybe not a college graduation, maybe not the place to do it.
I think most women, if given the chance, if their husband's making $7 million a year, would choose not to work.
Me too. If my wife was making $7 million, I'd like to stay home too. But I mean, come on.
I'm good.
Come on.
Mr. Mom, here I come. Are you kidding me?
Michael Keaton, baby.
I'd be changing diapers like it's my job. And it would be my job, actually. Hell yeah. I'd let that little sucker piss on me every now and then if I didn't have to go punch the clock. Hell yeah.
Right, man. We'll go to the baseball field, throw the ball around, hit some balls, and hit some golf balls and all that good stuff.
Hell yes. I'm in. I'm all in. All right, Jason, we'll tell everybody how they can get your podcast.
Yeah, just Powers on Sports on all your podcast platforms. Jason Powers YouTube channel. Typically put all the video stuff up there as well. So yeah, check it out. Love to have you. We'll have you back on as we get closer to football season.
Let's do that.
Who wins the golf tournament this weekend, fellas? Who do you think?
Who you got, Timmy?
Scheffler with 9 under.
John Daly.
This was the tournament that he came out of nowhere and made his name at the PGA back in the day.
But you're not allowed to be drunk on tour while you play anymore. Did
you hear that he went through 4 packs of cigarettes and a 6-pack of Miller Lite on the front 9 alone yesterday?
Have you seen the video? Have you seen the videos of that guy back in the day when he used to shake? He was so caffeine dependent. He would be shaking on the course because he couldn't smoke and
he is a treasure, an absolute.
It's the one time a year I can put him on my freaking card. It's what tournament.
I got a question out of the blue that it was a little bit in the news. I want to get your opinion, JP. John Gruden. There's been a little rumblings about this John Gruden case the last week or so.
Yeah.
How do you think this John Gruden case is going to end with the NFL?
Well, I didn't get too much into it. I guess he just lost the decision in Nevada there, right? Yeah. And that has to go to arbitration. So, I think when it has to go to arbitration in this particular situation where he can't air everybody's dirty laundry,
right?
Then he's probably going to be at a disadvantage. But I don't think he's ever going to coach in the NFL again. Unfortunately, I don't think that's ever going to happen for him.
It'll be interesting if he ever has that tell-all interview. That 60 minutes tell-all interview, man, about the NFL. I wonder if that'll ever happen.
It won't be with me, I can tell you that. Or you.
Right?
You have to come out of pocket with
Ira. He'll be talking to Ira.
No, I think it'll be somebody that can put a couple of zeros on from that Netflix account. Ask Tom Brady about that.
That's right.
All right, Jason, good stuff, my man. Appreciate you. We'll chat with you down the line. Thanks, buddy.
Y'all have a good weekend.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we got our Hydrate Heroes Hero of the Week, another outstanding person we can't wait to chat with. So stay with us. That's coming up next. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, You want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. As I have a fresh Hydrate Heroes here, mango ginger that's getting a little thirsty, so I have to. It's so good, so good. Oh, there you go. You got your mango ginger right there, baby. All right,
I do. It's my favorite flavor so far.
Spreading like wildfire. All right, let's bring in the man, the myth, the CEO of Hydrate Heroes, our good friend Michael Gardner. As we always know, Michael, you give back 15% of gross sales to these great military charities that you support. How are you doing this wonderful Friday, my friend?
Man, it's Friday, and I talked to Starks last night. He guaranteed a win for tonight. No, he didn't really. Don't get that out. He did, but I'm guaranteed a win tonight, man. Let's hope the Knicks bring it home tonight, man. So super excited to introduce our hero of the week. And Starks, I know you were talking about getting him on maybe next week. So we're
talking about John Starks, by the way, Knicks legend, who's one of the partners in Hydrate Heroes. He was on our show a few weeks ago, and he told us his team's making a run in this postseason. And boy, they're fun to watch. I never thought I'd be rooting for the Knicks, Michael, ever. I love this team, man. They're just like the old Knicks. They're scrappy. They work hard. Man, I love that team. So I'll be rooting for him tonight, no doubt. So
in Brunson, like, where did this guy come from? Like, he
came from Dallas. He should still be a Maverick, by the way.
Hey, I didn't mean to poke the bear there. Sorry about that. I feel
Mark Cuban clearly doesn't know how to hold on to good people.
No, you'll get no argument from me there. No,
he doesn't know how to value people of character. So
what do they say? Somebody's trash is somebody's treasure. So
yeah.
There we go. I'm not saying he was trash at all.
No.
But, super excited for that. But more importantly, with our guest, and we talk about this all the time. Like, when you're golfing, you're still working, right? I keep trying to tell my partners that, like, guys, when I'm golfing, I'm working. Trust me,
you'll never win that one, buddy. You'll never win that one.
Right. Well, the thing is, I met this gentleman, and we're really committed to the military and highlighting these heroes. And I wound up getting at an event. It was a Space Coast event a few weeks ago, and just really love what this guy was doing. His name is Stu, and he's part of an organization here in Florida. And they actually
bring him in.
Yeah, bring him in, because what he's doing, and he's a veteran first and foremost. I'll salute him.
Thank you, Michael.
I think we golf too, Stu, or JP. Stu can actually hit that ball, man.
Yeah, all right. Unlike myself. What's up? Stu Smith joining us here. Let me give folks a little bit more information. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Florida Associations of Veteran-Owned Businesses. He is a veteran himself. He has a son who currently serves in the U.S. Army as a Black Hawk helicopter crew chief. How about that? Comes from a military family, so Stu, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your service and your family's continued service. Without you folks, we wouldn't be able to do the stupid things we do for a living. So we thank you so much. How are you today?
Good, brother. Thank you very much, JP. Thanks for the opportunity. Michael, thanks. Right. We talked in the golf cart that what's meant to be is meant to be, right? How accidental that, meeting was. I had a guy who's a 34-year Master Chief in the Navy, and believe it or not, he just forgot that the event was that day. So I went up to the organizer and I said, "Hey, listen, I need somebody to play with." And he goes, "I got just the guy for you."
There you go.
That's how it happened. But JP, thanks very much. Yeah, and like you, brother, hey, just enjoying my hydrate here, right? And my veteran.
Nice. I like that.
Baby.
Yeah. So tell me about what you do for veteran-owned businesses. That's a very important thing that you're doing, because I know how tough it is for guys to come back and assimilate back into society and make money. I don't know, if I ran a business, I'd hire every veteran I could find because of the work ethic, the integrity, the honesty, and I would work with any business that was veteran-owned. That would be a hallmark of anything. If I was in business, I would do. So how does that dynamic working?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that too, right? In supporting veterans and come back. So JP, the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses across the state of Florida, obviously, and to put it in lay terms or muggles terms, as sometimes we say in the military, is that these are veteran-owned businesses, and we come together like a hybrid of a chamber of commerce, a trade association, and a B&I group. And we do what they do really well, and we do things that we do super well, which is the networking side. I can give you tons of examples of success stories. One of them was in 2020. Yes, that 2020. There were about 6 of us on the Space Coast who exchanged about $1 million in revenue. So we work hard to support each other. So the organization statewide, we work in regions. We have folks over in Tampa. We network with each other usually in the evening or breakfast or lunch. We have some professional development events. We just hosted an event where we were teaching folks how to do business with school districts in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, school districts buy everything. Yeah. Anything you can think of, a school buys. We just had we're coming up to this big event, a federal event that Michael's going to be involved in. The National Veteran Small Business Coalition is a nationwide organization we partner with on the GovCon or government contracting side. That event's in Orlando. So networking, professional development, and support of these veteran-owned businesses. And I'm going to give you a question that you don't know the answer to.
Okay.
How many veteran-owned businesses in the state of Florida?
Well, I'll say 50,000.
Right, great guess, right? How about 185,750?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So interesting dynamic, right? This the state of Florida will bill itself as one of the most veteran-friendly states in the United States, and they've got a claim to that, right? With Veterans Florida, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and all the other services they provide to us, low taxes, easy entry. Florida was just named the #1 state for entrepreneurship in the nation. So we got a lot of things going for us, but we got a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
So we also have an advocacy part of our organization. We go to Tallahassee, talk to Roy Clark with the FDVA, talk to Veterans Florida about, hey, this is what's needed in the veteran business community that will help. And for us, it's really cool because a rising tide floats all boats, right? So if we want something for a business, it's for all businesses. And so we look to promote veteran-owned businesses. And to your point, JP, you are just like most Americans, right? A patriot, you want to do business with veteran-owned businesses. 7 out of 10 consumers, when given the choice, will do business with a veteran-owned business.
Sure.
Over a non-veteran-owned business. So that's what we're all about, brother. And we would like to bring more people on board and coalesce. You know the deal. The numbers are what make a difference. So if you have a big membership, you've got the ability to have a bigger platform, a bigger opportunity to talk to people and bring people on board. And one thing that a lot of folks probably realize, but needs to be said, is when you're an entrepreneur, it's very demanding, right? Mm-hmm. And so some of the things we've learned in the military, and I'm an Army veteran, I'll tell you a little bit about that, but some of the things we learned in the military, that discipline, self-discipline in particular, the willingness to go the extra mile, the persistence, the endurance, right, are ideally suited for somebody who becomes an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
But more so, veterans, 85% of all veterans leave the first job they take within the first year. 85% leave the first job they take within the first year. And part of the problem is, let's say you go in when you're 18 and you come out when you're 22, just a 4-year investment. Let's say you were a squad leader or a tank commander, TC, for M1A1 Abrams. You've got millions of dollars of equipment. You've got a crew you've got to take care of, and you've got a mission that's just so demanding. And you're 22.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you get out and you go to work for somebody, and they say, "Sit down, shut up. Here's your cube." It gets frustrating.
That's not so easy. Yeah.
And same thing with our retirees, right? Guys that go 20 years plus. They've had significant responsibility. And how does a guy or gal who left the service translate what they did so the civilian can understand what they're saying?
Yeah.
So entrepreneurship is a great space for veterans.
Start your own business. Don't work for somebody else. Work for yourself. And because then they bring that excellence that's hard. I think for a lot of veterans, they probably go into companies and they look around and go, the hell's going on here? This place is run like crap. I got to get the hell out of here. And I can imagine that happens a lot. It's not, I don't think when you told me that, I said, it's probably not such a bad thing. They're probably so dissatisfied with the dysfunction of the corporate America that they're like, I can do this on my own.
Absolutely.
And it occurs to me, Stu, do you guys have an app or something where, let's say, if I want to hire a veteran-owned business, like my air conditioner goes, my plumbing goes, or something, I'm like, I'd like to hire, a veteran-owned business, a minority-owned business, or something just to make that whatever it is. But if a veteran-owned business, if there was an app or something I could go to, or someplace, a website where I could find one in my area, I would do that. Is there something that exists like that?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, the app's on the way, by the way.
Oh, good.
We've done a lot of work within FAVOB in the last 2 years since I've taken over and got a really good board, an active board to get this stuff going. And we're just getting ready to launch our new website. But currently, our favob.org website, favob.net, you can get there either way, has a directory that's accessible.
Nice.
My vision, JP, is have the most complete and accurate, comprehensive directory of veteran-owned businesses. So a consumer can find somebody, a business can find somebody, and there's so much opportunity. There's numbers are staggering. If you took the amount of set aside at the federal level for just veteran-owned businesses to do business with the government, it's about $15 billion, right? And it's growing.
Right.
Some estimate that it'll get close to 30 billion very, very soon.
Awesome.
But if you only took 3%, okay, the same percentage of the Fortune 500 companies that need diverse suppliers, veteran, women, disabled, LGBTQ, whatever category we're using, right? And many times veterans count one or more of those, right?
Right.
And their supply chains, they are desperate for these folks. And the opportunity is $100 billion annually.
Nice.
So we create opportunities for people to understand that and then figure out how they're going to do business with these businesses. But yeah, just go to FAVOB, FAVOB. .net and look at our directory and more to follow, right? And finding veteran-owned businesses.
FAVOB.com or org?
.net.
.net. Even.
Yep. And you can get there .org too, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we are a C6, so we're kind of in the weird nonprofit space. And remember, those designations are really only for taxes, right? We run our business like a business, but it gives us the opportunity to have an advocacy. We have a legislative agenda and those kinds of things also.
Well, Michael, I can see why you guys became fast friends. He's doing great work as you are.
So I want to put him on the spot, JP. You know how I roll, right? I like to put people on the spot. So okay. Stu, as you know, we talked about our company. We have over 130 years of active military service on our advisory board.
Right.
I'd like to get to 150 years. Do you know anybody that maybe somebody like yourself with over 20 years of military that would want to be on our board?
See what he's doing there. Yeah.
150 years of military service on our advisory board. The offer, is open. Love to have you. And actually, when I was talking to him, a lot of like what his background and everything, working with these businesses, not only is he supporting through the organization that he's with, but he also supports with the mechanics and the organizational structure and things of that, where a lot of these entrepreneurs are starting out and they don't know where they don't know about a board of directors. They don't know all the intricacies of starting a business and, from, your voting shares, non-voting shares. So it's a great resource, and his knowledge, Stu, we would love to have you part of our team somehow, some way. The pay is really good. It's, pro bono. So,
buddy, as long as I continue to get more Hydrate Hero packages.
There you go.
And with that said, guess what I have here, JP?
Is that the tropical punch?
Our new flavor just arrived.
Fruit punch? Yeah. Send it on over, brother. I'm running out of mango ginger.
Yeah. Well, that's the closer right there, Michael. So I'm not going to get you to 150 because I spent 6 years, 8 months, 8 days on active duty. Right? So when you get out and get a document, it's called a DD-214, and they give you years, months, and days. But yeah, I actually in Florida's my home of record. I went into the Army from Brevard County, Florida. I had successfully run 2 construction contracting businesses into the dirt and ruined a couple of relationships on the way. And I'm unabashed about my turning to the military as an opportunity, because like many young men looking for something to do, right?
Yeah.
I remember the joke. I went into the Air Force and explained my situation to him because my dad was in the Air Force. And the Air Force recruiter listened to me for about, 15, 20 seconds. He was kind of kind. And he raised his hand and went, "The Army's that way." So walked out of the Air Force recruiter, walked into the Army recruiter's office, and the Army guy asked me, he said, "What is it you want to do, right? What do you want to do in the Army?" I said, "I want to leave tomorrow, right? I'd like to get a check and leave tomorrow." He goes, "Listen, I can't get you out tomorrow, but I can get you out soon." And so I went in the military, somewhat out of necessity, but also history, right? You can see in the background. That's my father's casket flag and my father-in-law's casket flag. And so my Love Me wall is about loving other people. Actually, that's pretty cool, JP. That's this one picture here is a letter sent to my grandmother when my dad went to Air Force basic training. Mm-hmm. And so it's typed, right? It's a standard letter, but he signed it. And just talk about, here's the differences you're going to see in your son. And then this one over here I created, it was response to a letter I wrote to the president, Johnson, at the time, asking if my uncle could come home for Christmas during the Vietnam War.
Vietnam, oh my God.
Yeah. And of course, the guy writes back and says, "Hey, listen, the needs of the Air Force outweigh the needs of a young man in Hawaii looking for his uncle," right?
Yeah.
But went in the Army, had a really successful career, and it did what it did for me, right? I was able to complete my education, pretty successful in the military, met my wife on active duty. We've been married 36 years. Just 2 days ago, our son's an active duty Black Hawk crew chief, as you said. And when I left the military, because I had some experience before, my transition was seamless, man. I left September 29th, 1992, and went to work September 30th, 1992. So I had to
had a plan.
I had to vicariously learn what that transition was all about. And I've been helping my fellow vets do that transition.
Well, it's important work, man. Stu, we thank you so much for the work you're doing and continue to do for these veterans owned. Go to favob.net, and that's where you can find that list of veteran-owned businesses. If you need one, we'll get the app out soon, so you can pop in, find one real quickly, and that's going to be a great resource for consumers and for the businesses themselves. So, Stu, thank you for being a Hydrate Heroes Hero of the Week. You can add that to your awards on the wall right there. And Michael, thank you. Nice old. I didn't even teach you that. That's an old broadcaster's trick that we use to get our way. We ask people for things while we're live on the air, and they can't say no. It's brilliant use. Well done. You're a veteran already. Works every time.
Thanks, JP. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, Stu. Appreciate it, Michael. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Send me out some of that those new flavors. Try hydrateheroes.com. All right, buddy. Thank you. We'll see you next week. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Timmy, we'll get you that fruit punch really soon. Get it out.
I need it. I need me
some. It's a hangover recipe. Absolutely the best there is. All right. Our thanks to Jason Powers for joining us here today, and all you guys for joining us as well. We'll do it again on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you then. I love the Scotty Scheffler mugshot you got on there. That's outstanding.